Coach Sergey, thank you very much for taking the time. We are at SBG Nace.
SBG Nace, yes.
SBG Nace here in Ireland. You're the wrestling coach here. First of all, I know you come from Moldova, but at a certain age you came to Ireland. How old were you when you came here?
Yes, I came in around 19 years, exactly 19 years ago, actually.
And why did you come here actually?
It's a long story, you know. I've been in Moldova, you know. I've been training wrestling, competing, and then I've got an injury, and I couldn't compete anymore. So I came over here. My sister actually lives here, so I came over here just to visit her, and I end up living here.
Okay. And what is it like life like here in Ireland in comparison to Moldova?
It's different, right? I mean, Moldova we have sun. There is not so much sun here. From the weather perspective, better weather there. But I love it here. I feel home. People are nice. From in terms of wrestling and MMA, you know, it's a big pool of a great talent here, and yeah, I have a life now here.
Bulgaria in the past, my country Bulgaria, we had very good wrestling, but now at the moment the level is very low. I was actually shocked when I went there because I was there recently to train very low level. What would you say, what is the level of wrestling in Moldova and what is the level of wrestling in Ireland?
Yeah, actually in Moldova, the level of wrestling is really good. It's getting better and better. You probably can see on the competitions and your opinions, the world's guys, you know, winning the medals from the youth, you know, to the seniors, both freestyle and Greco. You know, and we have an old program, same as you guys have, you know, kind of USSR style. I think it's a little bit more support for the wrestlers back home, not as much maybe as needed, but a little bit more. In comparison to here, I mean, wrestling back home has as a culture, right? Same as in Bulgaria, it's a culture in the roots. Here, you know, MMA is and jiu-jitsu and grappling predominantly dominating here. However, the wrestling is growing as well, not as big obviously as in Bulgaria and Moldova, but it's growing, yeah.
What I find interesting is, or actually not interesting, a little bit disappointing is, it almost feels like there is a trend where wrestling becomes less and less popular and jiu-jitsu becomes more, and nothing against jiu-jitsu, but I feel like people are choosing now jiu-jitsu instead of wrestling. I might be wrong. Why would that be the case? What do you think?
I think it's a different, maybe different approach. It's wrestling is a you know harder training. Probably the sport that the hardest sport, not the probably the hardest sport in the world that you not getting the much out of it, but you're getting the pride. You're getting the pride. In jiu-jitsu, it's not as maybe physically as physical tough. And I think also part of it, I believe it's also the belt system, because in jiu-jitsu you have a belt system. In wrestling there is no belt system, so you can go to competition and you can wrestle a world champion, you know, and you could be a white belt maybe, or just maybe a year or two training in wrestling. But in jiu-jitsu you have levels in the belt, so I think that's also helps to grow the sport.
Also, a question which I was thinking about before I came here. If we look at people, let's say Hamza Chimaev. So when he grabs a hold of a person like Dricus du Plessis, when he grabs a hold, he makes it look as if Dricus du Plessis has never wrestled. So, and Dricus du Plessis is actually a good wrestler. Why are people from certain regions of the world so good at wrestling? What is the difference?
Yeah, the difference is, you know, they train. It's their history. They train wrestling a lot. They have much higher level partners to train with, and yeah, which is really brings them on a different level.
But I mean, like when they grab a hold, it's almost like a father playing with his son. And I'm just asking myself, how is it possible a person like Dricus who trains like 3 times a day and is a strong man, and it's just such a big strength difference.
Yeah, but don't forget, Kamzat also has a background in wrestling, so he has been wrestling. I'm not sure about Dirkus if he has a background in wrestling, but it's again, Kamzat been wrestling all his life prior to going to MMA, so that's his base. It was his base, so of course he's gonna have a advantage in in wrestling part.
And also, this question, I might sound like a casual, but every time when I train Greco-Roman wrestling, I feel very limited. It's almost like I cannot do anything. When I do freestyle wrestling, it's way more freedom, more. So my question is, what is your opinion if you were to compare Greco-Roman wrestling with freestyle wrestling? What sport do you prefer? What do you like more?
You see, the way I look at it, and I love both freestyle. I've done more freestyle, but I also done Greco. The way I look at it is Greco is you need to understand the thing about the Greco and freestyle. In Greco, it's more about the throws and really feeling the throw and get that pressure and perform that beautiful throw. And freestyle, I call it like a buzz. You know, you're really getting the buzz when you get somebody and you do a big suplex or a big arm throw. So you get a buzz of it, right? In freestyle, you can do both, right? You can do obviously leg attacks. You're a lot more freer, as you said. But the Greco is more. It's both art, but it's an art of just throws, you know, in Greco. Where in freestyle, you can do the throws, you can do the legs. You're more free. But I love both, you know. I love both. It's two amazing sports.
When I'm in Bulgaria, we have a mountain very close to where I live. I live in Sofia, and we have a mountain very close. So I go and run upwards.
Yeah.
And what I notice is, well, I'm not even sprinting, but I'm just running up for a long time. It's a low pace. Well, it's extremely tiring, but I'm not sprinting, but still running up. And what I notice is then the explosion when I wrestle with just a different level of explosion. But my question is, what is important to train so that you're explosive in wrestling and also strong?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of exercises you can do. I mean, and you do it from early age when the guys doing wrestling, they do from early age. For example, you do a lot of jumps, you know, after trainings, you do jumps for hours and it builds up. You do the sprints into the hill sprints, right? Yeah. So it builds up and it also gets into your muscle memory. So you're learning, your muscle memory learn how to, you know, explode. Plus, wrestling is very explosive sport, right? It's a short explosiveness where you need to throw the whole body. Like I always say, you know, striking, you throw the hand or throw the leg. In wrestling, you need to explode the whole body to attack, right?
Mm-hmm. I am at the moment 27 years old. I will be 28 in September. So I've done mixed martial arts, I've done boxing, but I haven't wrestled too much. Realistically, how good can you get at wrestling if you start, let's say, at 28 or 27? Can you reach a good level of wrestling even though you start at an older age?
Yeah, I mean, there is at older age, it means you're gonna wrestle with veterans. You know, there is also the categories up to from 35 to 40 to 45 and 15. The guys that wrestle, there is one Russian guy, I forgot his name. I think he's 60 now, and he started wrestle at I need to double check, but at like late 40s. Yeah. And he's competing in the world championships in the veterans because of different categories, right?
Yeah.
So you can, it depends, you know, how much.
But how good can you get? Can you really get very good at wrestling?
As good as for your age, you know. In terms of you asking to compete with the younger guys.
Yeah, let's say.
Probably going to be very difficult.
And what makes
that also on a high level, right? Probably going to be very difficult.
And what would be the difference? What do those guys have? What are the things which make them different?
Well, the youth, of course, but also they're doing it from the young age, so their body is automatically moves the way that it will take you a lot longer. You know, you all in wrestling you do a lot of bridges, you know, a lot of gymnastics exercise. You in the very different position all the time. You know, scrambles that you already know how to come out, and you've done it so many times that you don't. Most of the times don't even think about it. So it takes You know what they say? It takes 10,000 hours to do something to get good at. You know,
Is it that much in wrestling? Do you really need so many hours to really reach?
You do, and it's also not guaranteed, right? But yes, it takes time to get good at wrestling.
If you look at mixed martial arts or MMA, what is the best style of wrestling that fits MMA? Is it Greco-Roman? Is it freestyle?
I believe it's freestyle. Greco-Roman is great as well, but I believe in freestyle because freestyle, it's everything, and the leg defense. So obviously, I think it's a freestyle which just age a little bit over the Greco for the MMA.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, you're a person, you've been all over the world. You've been at huge UFC events. Could you tell me what is it like to be at an UFC event, to be cornering a fighter? What kind of experience is that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in one of the iconic fights, with Conor in his corner, with Mendes, with Alvarez on a champ, and it's amazing. The atmosphere is just unbelievable. It's so electric that you come in the corner and you can feel the look in the cage, and you can feel like the air is moving, air is moving, and the whole atmosphere of people shouting. It's like you get the goosebumps, your hair goes up. It's unbelievable experience.
A question about your son. He's also a wrestler,
Yeah.
very talented from what I see and hear. What is your plan for him?
Yeah, so we focus on with him on long-term development. So I'm training him since he's really 2 years old. The goal at the moment is freestyle, right? So he's doing freestyle at the moment. He's getting ready for Europeans at U15 in Bulgaria on the 23rd of May. So the moment we're getting ready there for this tournament, we go next week actually to France, to Paris for the competition. At the moment, it's just a freestyle. He does as well jiu-jitsu, but at the moment, just focusing on just freestyle wrestling.
Okay. And one last question for you. So you're a half Bulgarian from what I
Yes.
understood.
Yes.
Okay, so when you go to Bulgaria, how does it feel for you when you visit? Because you were born in Moldova,
Yeah.
but when visiting Bulgaria, what is it like for you?
It's very similar, right? Very similar as well, because I understand Bulgarian. The only thing is sometimes confusing is da and no. That's the only thing still a little bit confusing sometimes. But it's very similar, right? The same. I feel it's the same people, tradition, food, very very similar.
Yeah, I always say last question, but I promise this is the last one. So, you're an expert in wrestling. What advice would you give to a person who wants to become an expert in anything? It doesn't matter, wrestling or whatever it is. What advice, what is important for a person in order to become an expert in something?
Yeah, I think first is really get good at fundamentals, right? Get good at fundamentals, do something consistent, and really love it. Because you have to have the love and the passion to be good at anything and to succeed. That's three things.
Thank you very much for the time. I truly appreciate it. All the best with SBG NAS or NACE, excuse me. And it's absolutely beautiful for real. Thank you very much.
You know what does it stand for?
No.
So the gorilla is a SBG logo. It's a silverback gorilla, and I always say the tiger, even though for wrestling even for Olympics it's the bear, right? It's a bear, but nobody say to a wrestler you're a good bear. They say you're a good tiger. You're a tiger. So it's like a jiu-jitsu guys wrestle with a wrestler.
But was it your idea to include a
Yes.
tiger?
Yes, that was my idea. Yes.
This is the best logo I've ever seen in a gym.
Thank you.
I love it, for real. Thank you very much for the time, sir, and all the best with everything.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.